The students at CSULB were wonderful students, but I thought they were a little bit insular in that they didn't know too much about international issues, international events. They didn't know too much about different cultures. And so I thought the world is actually shrinking. The world is becoming a global village now. And I thought it is very important for them to know things outside of California and outside of the US.
I discovered that there were these short-term study abroad courses, and I said, wouldn't that be fantastic to put some courses together? So I began by putting together a course to Tanzania, Africa. We live in a remote village. We are greeted on the very first day with this huge opening ceremony where everybody in the village, all the school kids are out, they're singing, they pull us off the bus. We sing and dance for about 3 hours, and then we get into our routine, and our routine is building in the mornings and then working with the school children in the afternoons, working with my colleagues across campus to develop more courses, more ideas, how to bring it into current courses. We now are very active in bringing international initiatives into many of our classes.
The outcomes have been amazing for both myself and the students. The students get a lot of experience traveling. A lot of the students have never even had a passport before, have never been out of the country, so it's very exciting for them. While the course is going on, they develop their own independent research project, and then we go away for spring break to a tropical location, and they conduct their independent research project during that week. They have to analyze the data and write up a scientific paper and then present their results. And they come back with a much broader knowledge of the world. And I love it because I get to experience the new cultures as well. And I get to see how excited my students are.
Well, I visited the International Education Committee one day, and what I saw was that engineering was greatly underrepresented. I thought engineering has something to offer. We started with 10% non-engineering students, and now 80% are non-engineering. And the class from 20, they grew to about 400 a year. I was also able to put the CSULB in a way on a map. Right now, I am the PI or co-PI of a National Science Foundation project, and we are writing an electronic textbook which would be offered to everybody free of charge. Many universities are waiting for this book comes out and they can use it.
As a scholar of international relations, we had been studying the Cold War, and when the opportunity arose to go to Kazakhstan to visit, I was struck immediately by the fact that here was a country that had a great deal of natural resources and a very bountiful future in front of it. We jointly taught then a course. The course culminated with a Model United Nations simulation at the real United Nations Central Office in Almaty, Kazakhstan. What we're trying to do is to internationalize through the Model United Nations vehicle more courses.
So research methods isn't really global, and I didn't think I would change it at all, but what's been creeping in because I've been going to South Africa with this class is I've started using more studies from different countries. I kind of started with South Africa, so that I've got a really good quasi-experiment that's done in Guguletu, which is a township right near where we work. It started to sneak in, even when I didn't think it would. It turns out the students really love them and love talking about the countries and what have you, besides the thing that we're studying, how to do a good survey or what to watch out for.
It worked out that the two courses would be paralleling each other on some of the ideas that we wanted to get across about ethnicity and prejudice and conflict. And
I try to place my courses in a global context, and this was a good way to do it. Even though the students were still here in Long Beach, they had the connection to students in Cyprus. Even though I'm not doing that with students right now, I still try to bring the outside world in, not just Long Beach, not just California, not just the United States. Where else can we see these types of issues? And always looking at the expanding world.
In 2003, I had a sabbatical leave and I went to Brazil to develop an international social justice program with youth in the favelas in Rio. This program was so transformational for me in terms of my career that I wanted to expose my students in the same way when I came back to the United States. I thought right away that I wanted to somehow expose them to an international program involving service learning where they could somehow become more civically engaged. It's going to be the 9th time I'm going to take my students, and I think the strength of the course that's been quite transformational for the students, it's the fact that it's a service learning course, it's an international service learning course. So the students develop projects with underserved youth in Cambodia, HIV positive children, children rescued from sex trafficking and child labor. I will train them to be youth ambassadors. It's been quite successful. My main goal with my students, and I think that's the goal that we all strive, is especially nowadays, I want them to be global citizens, world citizens.